What's happening today, guys? Welcome to the Bondi Location Scout. It's my favorite place in all Sydney. So today we're talking about one of the most important topics that we need as filmmakers to cover before we do our shoots. This is a location scout, which is when we are creating our planning, our shoot, before we go into the location. This is very important to do as filmmakers so we can know what to do on the day of the shoot to have a better quality result. Also, how we say, we shoot for the edit, so keep that in mind because that location scout, it's also gonna help you a lot to pre-plan all your project, and that's what we want. So follow these tips to have a much better video. So start by researching in the maps for a place that you want to do. As an example, we're gonna use Bondi Beach, but what is the place that inspired you? And which places do you really want to go? Not because I am doing a video about Bondi, it's because something that you truly love and you're passionate about. So you have to research on Google Maps, go there into Street View and then search for a place that evokes an emotion and go to that place. Also, I would recommend, if you don't have a really clear idea where to go, have a list of options. So you have a scouting list, and that's gonna help you way more how to decide where to go. So now we are in Bondi Beach, looking at the beautiful scenery, and we have tons of things to film. Then we have lots of people, we have parks, a very beautiful beach, and we really arrived in a good time because it's great lighting and we're gonna talk about later, but I want you to focus on what you can see around you. So we got some people walking. We have this really cool skate park which has vibrant colors and graffitis that we can also shoot. And we can also have something very important which is called action shots. So we have to film people skating or doing some biking, and also we can go to the beach and see if there is people swimming. Don't go to the beach because I'm gonna cover that later. That's really dangerous with the camera. But try to see if there is some people doing volleyball. There will be so many people doing activities like these guys playing volleyball. They would be in a short match, and then you want to get those strikes and things that they do and possibly film them in slow motion as well. So go to the location and see which landmarks, action shoots and places with vibrant colors and atmospheres inspires you to shoot. Now we have the lighting and timing. This is a crucial thing to do also for our location scout. As you know, the lighting, it's related to the timing. So in an outdoor location, we need to plan for this light to be helping us instead of making us look bad. So we need to find the best times for the best lighting. The best quality of light you can have, it's on the golden hour, which is the time that the light is less intense and it creates less harsh shadows, which also can make a subject look unpleasant to look at, but also it's a bit more diffused, so it doesn't create that harsh light look, which we can have in the daylight when it's noon, and in these times it's not really good to shoot. So a really good time I recommend to go, it's either early in the morning, maybe during the sunrise until maybe 7 a.m. and you can go on the afternoon when it's closer to dusk, so you can get the sunset and also this dusk part that I'm talking about, which is there's no harsh light, but there is this beautiful colors around everywhere and there is a beautiful atmosphere. That would be in between 5 and 6 p.m. Maybe you could come a bit earlier just in case, but get the light about this time because it's the golden hour and you want to get your shoot in between these times. The golden hour basically means that the light of the sun is less intense, which creates less harsh shadows and makes our subject look much more pleasant. Also, the light has more of a reddish color temperature, which also we're going to talk about later in other episodes. But the color temperature also, it's very important because it's going to evoke an emotion and it's going to make our subject look happier if it's warmer. So those warmer tones of the golden hour really help to make some cinematic shoots. Now, next topic, it's the sound environment. we have to make sure that we get good sound, because we want to get our own sound effects instead of buying them from a library just to use copyright-free things. We want to make our own sounds, so we have to look for things that evoke an emotion and are related into the location that we are at. So at my case, we are at a beach, so we have to look for things like the sea breeze, some people having a conversation in the background, dogs barking, some sound of the waves, so many things that we can think about when we are at the location. So look for these things and record them on a microphone if you have that. Otherwise, I would really recommend to do it with your phone, which is, it's okay for quality. So if you don't have a microphone yet, you could use your phone. Now, the not so good part of sound, it's that you have to check for optimal noise that is not distracting the audience. So for instance, you also would like to go in the afternoon or very early in the morning, just not because of the light, but also because in the middle of the day it's gonna be very crowded and you're gonna get a lot of traffic noise, people talking around and lots of crowds. That will make it, first of all, very hard for you to get very good quality sound, and also second, it's gonna be a bit more dangerous. It could be that people are walking everywhere around you and you could trip on someone, so it's better to find that time of the day which is not so crowded and there is gonna be also really good sound for your film. Now we're gonna talk about logistics. This topic is very important because we want your equipment to be safe and also to find parking. That is one of the hardest things to do when, for example, your place is Bondi Beach. I don't recommend to do it in Bondi Beach if you have a car. So in my case, I don't have a really big camera, so I can use the public transport just if it's safe enough for you. If you feel that it's not safe for you, I feel pretty confident getting all my cameras in public transport, but if you don't consider it safe, it's up to you. You could get a car and get a parking spot. Maybe in the later times of the day, it's not gonna be that hard to get a parking spot, but you definitely should consider what feels comfortable for you. Because I don't have a really big camera, it's just a DSLR and a small tripod, so I could carry it in my backpack, or if it's maybe a red camera and it's very expensive or it's really big and it could potentially cause hazards, I would definitely not recommend public transport. Then you need a car and you need transportation, so you need to arrange that. Now we're going to talk about the composition of things and framing. It's really important to do in the location scout because we're going to have really good shots and a shot list that it's going to make sense, and it will be also more favorable for the edit. So to get a good composition, we have to evaluate the places and the locations that we have for ourselves. So we need to look for these visual elements that are going to enhance our production value. Elements such as surfers and what is the backdrop that you're looking at. Are you looking at the ocean? Are you looking perhaps at some cliffs behind the ocean? Or perhaps you're shooting directly from the water? Like if you're in a cliff, you could shoot directly from the water to the Bondi Beach and you could see all the people hanging around Bondi. So this is also some things of composition that you have to think about. What do I want the audience to see? What is the backdrop behind my element? So I want an element to be surfers and I want the backdrop to be either Bondi Beach or just the ocean. So we need to strategically plan which location is gonna serve way better for our film. Also, you need to look for different camera angles for the production. So the more camera angles and the more variations you have for your shoots, the more production value you're gonna add to your film. So now we are gonna talk about a huge safety topic. So the weather and the seasonal changes can really affect the way that we're gonna shoot. So perhaps if we need to shoot outdoors, we always have to look for the weather app. So in case there is a lot of chances for rain to come on the day of our shoot, we need to be ready with protective equipment for our camera, perhaps a bag or a case for it. And we also have to know if it's worth it to take the risk. And to be honest, I wouldn't take the risk if there is more than 30% chance on that day that's gonna rain. Also, I would consider the wind conditions. If there is some sand or some kind of dust in the place that you're gonna shoot at, that could be really harmful for the camera because the dust and the sand doesn't get along with DSLRs. So always check at the weather app if it's gonna be favorable for your production. If not, quit that location and maybe shoot indoors, or look at a really sunny day, or when the weather is optimal for your film. Now, the safety also comes with something very important, which is permissions. And if you don't have a permission to shoot at the place, you also lose safety and trust. So you need to find if the place is able to be shot or not, because some places are very crowded and they have lots of safety issues if you're gonna bring a big camera. But to be honest with you, we have all done guerrilla shoots, as we call it. So if your camera, it's a small camera or a DSLR, you won't need to worry so much about permissions. But a license is required if you're gonna shoot with heavy equipment that could be potentially harmful for the people around. So always check that. And also, if you're handling drones, be sure that you have a license for the drone and the place is also okay with drones, because I tell you, there is places that the drones are like a no, a big no. It could be very crowded beach that you cannot use drones. In Bondi, you can get away with it in specific places, but also check first. Now, a very good way to make sure that your shot list and your storyboards for the final product are gonna be in the right way, you should capture test shoots in the location scout, because the location scout is going to provide you with a walk through the place, and you're going to be able to see all the elements, all the compositions, and you could actually film them. And then when you're at home, you could revise anything that needs an adjustment or a change. And perhaps you didn't like that location, so you don't have to spend time worrying about that location on the day of the shoot. So this will add way more value to your production, and it's gonna save you a lot of time in case you don't wanna go to undesired places. And also, it's gonna help you to capture the things that you really want to in a faster time. Now, this is the most important topic. Build relationships with the local business around you. You never know when you're gonna have a chance of someone like that sees your work and says, wow, are you shooting for products or any cafes, by the way? So if they need a videographer, they will definitely hire you. So if you go around and see some businesses like cafes or beauty salons and you have the chance to give them a business card, bring your business cards with you. It's gonna be very good. And then if they say yes, you may have a potential client for the future. Now, I want to thank you so much for seeing this video, and make sure you do a location scout before you do your production, and that will improve so much more your quality for your video. If you like this tutorial, I really would appreciate if you subscribe and like it. And if you would like many tricks and tips in how to improve your video quality and your filmmaking skills, keep checking this channel. See you next time.